Good evening. Not quite really, is it? 5 o'clock, early kickoff today, or an earlier one at least. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to Weekly Armchair Sports Talk. I hope you're all good. 3 points on the board, Stu. Hammer, thank you both for joining me. We should be expecting Kai in a minute. Get your comments in, get liking, get subscribing, and all that jazz. Jarvis, big up all. Sean, we will be getting Sean back on soon. All right, gents. And, well met, you motherfuckers. I'll say that for this time round. I'll blame it on Keane if we get in trouble. Stu, tell me about how you're feeling.
Well, interesting. I've got to be honest, and I thought it was a very uninspiring, selfish, very poor performance. And we've almost harked back to the days of their individual player. Yes, we won 2-0. Yes, their goalkeeper had the usual worldie at Old Trafford, as they always do. But I just thought our approach play, our ball retention was fucking woeful. Our speed of play was woeful. Our attitude at the very, very beginning was absolutely shocking, considering that we're supposed to be. I mean, Liverpool are really, they're on our shoulders. Yeah, I know we've got it in our hands to do it, but with our performances at home recently, with our where we want to be in terms of top four, I expected something rather than quite a flat performance. I thought Anthony was the proverbial wolf at Red Riding Hood's door today. He just huffed and he puffed and he blew.
He did. I did see a stat or something or a tweet earlier to suggest that he was obviously the most instrumental in that first half. He didn't stop running, did he?
He didn't. And his choice of ball, apart from the Martial goal, was terrible. It's almost like he'd reverted back to when he first came and forgot what he should be doing when he's in positions. I think he could have popped in Sancho, couldn't he, midway through the second half, and there would have been a finish. So, it appears like I'm whinging. Absolutely, I am. It just isn't boding well for the real crux game, which is going to be City in the FA Cup final on the 6th of June. And you've got to be finding some kind of momentum, 3 weeks away, 3.5 weeks away, and we're not doing that. And I would imagine ETH, as much as he would have been happy with a 2-0 win, and bearing in mind you're playing against a Wolves side who got absolutely zipped to play for, nothing to play for. So they're going to. So we've gone out there, and Ten Hag should have warned: don't be drawn into Wolves' lackluster, lethargic, languid approach that they're going to have today, because 3 points to them is neither here nor there. The money was on Southampton going down today, which they did. Forest have kind of got themselves out of it and dragged themselves back in it at the same time. Pretty poor. It's been an interesting day, and it's one of those games where the lads have got to go into the dressing room and think we're still not doing what we should be doing. We're still not at the peak of where we need to be. So look, I said we'd win 2-1. Keane actually said 2-0. So I think Keane put 2-0 on his.
It's about time he got something right.
Well, it is. I was about to say that. So look, at the end of the day, we've come away with 3 points. Newcastle drew, I think, didn't they, earlier? I didn't see the game, but I think they drew, didn't they, Newcastle?
So 2-2. So we're level on points now. Of course, their goal difference is far greater. It is ours to lose top four. I am a bit nervy every game, and I think the team is. I think you can see that as quite sort of apparent. But we only need 6 more points. Now, I know we shouldn't be talking that way, but I think we've run out of steam, run out of gas. We can't find the goals from anywhere. I don't think, like today, we had 20 shots, 22 shots, I think, in the end, maybe 23, 6 on target. And that, to me, isn't clinical enough.
No, it isn't. And the thing about it is he brings him back in Varane. It wasn't the right game to bring Varane back in. You don't need to push him against Wolves. Wolves aren't particularly rapid up top. Costa will give you a bit of hassle, but he's a bully. Costa's a bully. Maguire would have stood up to that much better. Yeah, we didn't have a anything necessarily to really worry about, apart from the one De Gea moment where he came out in the second half. He didn't actually kick the ball; he would have kicked the man. But did you see that the man went down early doors, didn't he? The man was expected De Gea to. I can't remember who the player was. So look, yes, I'm moaning. Yes, most of you will think, shut up, we've won, but it doesn't bode well. This patch, and Mark, if you remember, I said 6 weeks ago we would really struggle in this period, and we're not finding a way you've been able to.
It's almost like you know what you're talking about, Stu.
Well, not so sure about that. But anyway, but we did. We won. 3 points. We've got to move on now to when do we play next? By the way, I haven't had a chance to check fixtures. We've got another week off.
Yeah, we have now. It's a lot. So we got Bournemouth next Saturday at 3:00, same kickoff, and then we've got Chelsea. Bournemouth are safe now, yes. And then we've got Chelsea on the 25th, which is a Thursday night 8:00 kickoff. And then Fulham. So, yeah, only 3 more games now. I mean, how quickly has that gone by? Absolutely mad, really. Right. Hammer, Kai, thanks for coming in, mate. You were frozen a minute ago, but you're looking absolutely wonderful. Great for you to join us, my man. I'll come to you in a second. Hammer, anything else that you may feel? Do you agree with Stu? How are you feeling after that?
I mean, yeah, I guess it wasn't the most beautiful game, but, like he said at the end there, a lot of us will be saying we got the points, so, I'm happy about that. To be honest, I get the form point of it, but I think part of it is also my mentality is seeing if everybody can be healthy going into that game against City. Rashford now picks something up. And just annoying things like that is what I think is more so going to affect us going into that game against City, because like we've seen with a lot of these players over the years, they turn up for the big games against a rival or something or at least they try to. So everybody's healthy. I think it'll give us some level of a chance. And then I think we all were saying Varane on the show yesterday should have been rested or something like that. But hey, he didn't get hurt and he played all right. So he got some more minutes under his legs to be ready for the last run.
I've got to be honest. We've made do in the last few weeks with our defence, and I think that Shaw's been good. I think Lindelof's been good, but I do think there's a major difference when Varane comes back. For today, I really felt like they didn't really pose any threat, they had chances, 1 or 2, but I think we just looked so much more solid, and I do believe that is down to Varane, if I'm honest. Not a massive golf, but I do think he really did improve our defence again today.
No, yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think Shaw being back out left also gave us some more stuff going up on that left, even though Sancho wasn't, again, up to what we all would like to see from him. And then, I agree with what we all said about Anthony. He was hungry today and he was playing hard, and he, I guess, had created some good connection with Martial at some point because, they were playing well together, the two of them.
Yeah, good points well made. Kai, thanks for joining us, buddy. I can't work out whether you're really good at being still or whether you're frozen. But talk to me if you are there. You are on mute. I'll unmute you, and if not, we'll go back to Stu.
I don't think he's there, is he?
No, got nothing. We'll come back to him in a minute. Loads of comments coming in today, guys. Really appreciate that. Make sure you're liking, subscriing, and loads of you.
On something Hammer said, if you don't mind.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah. So Hammer made the point last night about Shaw, and he was absolutely right. Shaw did add that extra dynamic, didn't he, on the left side? And that was absolutely brilliant. And I really take your point about Varane. You're both absolutely spot on. He does offer a solidity, and it does offer a calmness. My worry about him playing today was only this, that the fact he could easily break down again, and we need him for the FA Cup final. Whatever we do moving forward, he must be ready for the FA Cup final, and that is my only worry with him. He's made of glass. Having said that, he's come out unscathed. We've won 2-0. We beat Bournemouth next week. It's pretty much home and hosed, isn't it? We're there. Then maybe he could, because we've got to stop City doing the treble. We have to do it.
Somebody's got to stop him somewhere.
And Varane Varane in there gives us our a better hope. Look, I don't know about you guys. I thought Maguire was solid when he came. when he came
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
He did fine.
Yeah. He's not had the season that people are making him out to be.
Nah, he's an easy scapegoat. A bit like David De Gea, we can see his
Well,
frailties.
Golden
But if it
Glove
wasn't
winner,
for more, huh?
Isn't he Golden Glove winner now, David?
I think
oh yeah,
it can
it's not a
only.
clean sheet.
Is
I
it
think it
close?
can only be shared. So he's got 16. I think Pope, Allison, and someone else are on 13. 3 games left, so it can only be shared. So if we get another one, it's his, obviously. We did have a show the other night. I will take you back. Me, Keane, and a couple others. Apologies, I can't remember for the life of me now. Talking about David De Gea, coming up with a little bit of stats. Why we do feel that obviously clean sheets aren't everything, but it was relatively solid today. And anyway, not going to go into that now. If you want to have a look at that, go back. It was on Wednesday night, I think it was. Anyway, loads of you in the comments. Obviously, Alejandro, a really good comeback from him. A really tidy finish in the end. I think we all probably thought he was going to smash it first attempt, but he done with everyone and fooled us all. But yeah, good finish in the end. Kai, great to have you back with us, buddy. Talk to me about how you're feeling now, my man.
How's it going, lads?
Hey, here he is.
Well, I'm feeling good today. Actually, the first team I coached, because I coach an academy team, and we beat top of the table quite convincingly. Convincingly, and
it's a happy day for everybody.
They were so upset, just randomly upset. Like when because they expected to win the title today, so they brought their speakers and their fans, and then we pretty much ran rings around them. So it was pretty much it was fun. Excellent. And then United win, which is great. But no, there's no buts actually. No, the 3 points was good. Just a few things which are annoying, but we talk about them all the time. So, Sancho, come on. Like, do you know what it is, right? I said it the last time. He plays like he's a little bit soft, like he doesn't want to get touched, right? So that means that every time he makes a mistake or something, it's noticeable because it doesn't look like there's a lot of effort that went into whatever action that's there today. So that's a little bit annoying. I don't know if you guys get what I mean, but it's like when there's a 50-50, the fans, want somebody who sort of puts their foot in, right, and then immediately stands up and then runs back again or something. But sometimes it just feels like he's just kind of doing this. Like, this is how my shoulders are moving is how Sancho plays the entire time, and it doesn't go up or down. It just stays at the same pace. Even if we're losing the game, it's the same. And when he has
one thing, just sorry to interject there, buddy, and come straight back in. One thing I will say about Sancho is I think everybody expected him to be this explosive winger that's going to take on players and drive at players like Anthony kind of does, right? He's not. He's more intricate. He sort of picks up the spaces, falls into pockets. And I think that people, I'm not disagreeing with you, by the way. I'm just trying to, I had a thought about it the other day, and I think this is where it gets misconstrued. And I think a lot of fans think that he's something he's not. And I feel like that you were kind of sort of talking about that. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. And no, actually, no. Still, there are some basics, right? There are some things which, and Stu, you as a coach, let's be fair, or on the pitch, if you saw your attacker lose some of the 50-50s that they lose, or lose the ball in the manner that Sancho does, you would be losing it, because you'd be like, that didn't look convincing enough. And when Anthony loses the ball, just look at how he goes into the tackle. Just look at how he goes into every 50-50. He gets clattered. He's fine with it. He wants to be a part of that. And I understand that Sancho is, maybe, a bit more sexy, right? But Bernardo Silva is the sexiest player in the Premier League, but the guy will hunt you down when it comes to the ball.
We're still talking about football, right?
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. All right, okay. Let me replace the words. No,
I love it, Kai. You carry on, mate. You carry on.
So for me, it's just that it's hard to get behind him then, because when he gets the ball, for example, if he loses it, right, it doesn't look it just looks like he's not tried enough, and then you keep noticing the same thing, and that's the problem. So it's, for me, it's, if you watched him at Dortmund, everything was moving at a faster pace, right? We can't excuse him for that because Haaland moves at a fast pace. So Haaland's pace is the pace at which Sancho was moving as well, and he was actually, running really quick. So it's not like, we expected something that's crazy. I don't expect him to beat everybody, but what I expect of him is to do a little bit more, because when you see him, it's like 6 out of 10 times he does something good. But then we need it to be at least 7.5 or 8, because he always is watching the play in front of him. So I would like more from him. But moving on from Sancho, I do think having Varane, by the way, is great, because he's actually great positionally when it comes to defending. So there are moments, of course, which Wolves get into, like crossing positions or whatever. But you see, the first person at the near post is Rafa Varane, and he doesn't sort of gamble. And the gambling thing is something that Harry Maguire does often, right? Where he gambles, he thinks that someone might go near, and then it gets a cutback, or he goes too early on the inside, and then all of a sudden it's on the inside. So I think that's some calm. I think that's just experience. That's just being a very good defender. That's what it comes with sometimes. And yeah, so I think overall it was okay, but we need a number 9. So, and we know that, and we know we need someone that has more legs than Eriksen. We know that.
I thought we were lazy, Kai.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I thought we were lazy. I thought we were a bit self-centered in our play occasionally, very selfish with our play, particularly Anthony in 4 or 5 occasions, apart from the goal, the Martial goal. You're right about Sancho, by the way. It's a good point that you pick up, and it's a point I wanted to make, and I haven't been able to get it into anything I wanted to say for a while. And it's the art of tackling. And you're absolutely right. When you're going in for a 50-50 or a 70-30 or whatever, he squares it up too much. And when you square up against a player, your pain ratio quadruples, because you're going to get hit so much harder unless you actually slightly turn your body. And I'm talking about this angle here. Once you turn your body, you are then creating the force effect, which allows you to push through. He doesn't do that. He just doesn't do that. Right. I don't know if it's ever been in his game, but if you look at most of our players, none of them actually use that little technique, which me and Kai will tell you, we were taught when we were 5 years old how to tackle. It's not even a block tackle I'm talking about. It's being able to push the charge away from you and into your opposition.
Casemiro.
Yeah, he
Watch
just doesn't do it
all the time.
Yeah.
Nice and easy, buys a foul.
And that's how you do it. So yeah, I just thought I just thought we were a bit lazy. I just think we're in this gap at the moment, and this problem where we just can't seem to claw ourselves out of this black hole. We're in this dementia where we're almost floating through games, and we can't do that because City will just absolutely batter us in the final. They'll batter us in the final.
Yeah.
And we've got problems. So
I think it's Martinez as well, man. We need Martinez, man. Like it's
He's out for a while, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out. He's not back. I mean, you're right, like what you guys said about Varane. I did say I would have rested him today, purely and simply because I'm worried about his fragility. He's too fragile, for a centre half. As great as his positionally, you're absolutely right. He's too fragile for me. So, God, I'm moaning today. I'm whinging.
You are, Stu. I don't know why I invited you on, to be honest with you, but here we are. Here we are.
I will say real quick though, the only thing that was coming to my mind while Kai was talking about Sancho is, and I'll use a term that one of my old American football coaches used once because he never cursed, was yelling at one of the players and telling him to stop pussyfooting around, and I think it applies.
I don't.
Which was shot, by the way. That story is funny because he was like this extremely Christian guy, never cursed, and this was the first time we heard him do anything close to cursing because somebody wasn't paying attention in practice.
And that's stuck with you now, hasn't it? That's stuck with you now. Yeah. Right, I want to move on to Garnacho, and I'm going to come to you on this actually, Hammer. Keane, obviously, in the comments, I believe it's him anyway. Garnacho showing signs of a young Ronnie. Not sure if it's quite like that, but I can see what you're trying to say.
I said. So
and we've also did, if you go back, Keno, we spoke about the predictions at the end, and he did say that you were spot on, and I said it's about time. Anyway,
Absolutely.
so in 8 minutes, obviously scored a goal. Great finish, 100% pass completion. He did 5 take-ons, which he succeeded in all of those. And yeah, I mean, got the goal. But Hammer, I haven't really sort of asked you about him. It's good to have him back. He gives us a bit of another dimension. He likes to go at players, very skillful, very technically very good. But your view on him and obviously the finish today?
Well, the finish was great. A lot of people were talking about it. You know, a lot of us thought he was just going to smash it first time. And I'm pretty sure the defenders and the keeper thought he was going to smash it first time. But he was able to do his little dip in and out and got a nice clean shot off. Well, not clean, it went off the post, but it was a pretty little goal. The kid is really talented. I talked about it yesterday, too, where I actually thought I would have started him. Just because, you know, he didn't play last week at all, and everybody knows he's hungry coming back from injury. So I actually said I would have started him. But like I tweeted after he scored, the kid is already damn near a super sub, which I think is great.
Yeah, he's very good.
And the reason, you know, yeah, he has all the quality and all the talent, but I mentioned before last night as well, like the reason that I think he is doing well against some of the defenders right now, it's his first real season at the top, right? Really playing for United's first team, and he doesn't give a shit. And that's something that you see from young players who have that type of talent. You saw it with Rashford when he made his debut. He didn't care. He just wanted to attack people. And that messes up defenders because it cuts off the thought process. Because for me, I'm not usually cocky about stuff, but like when it comes to sports, like one of my better things in any sport that I played, I had a really good ability to read games, right, in terms of being on the defensive side. And when you can learn an attacker and be able to read what they're going to, somewhat predict what they're going to, because you can figure out what their tendencies are, that is your advantage. But when you're playing against somebody like Garnacho's playing, how he's playing right now, and he doesn't have any thought process, and he's just attacking, he's going hard, and he doesn't give a crap who's in front of him, who he's playing against. I mean, shit, it messes you up as a defender. And like today we saw, like I just said at the beginning of the little rant thing, right? None of us knew what he was going to do. We all thought he was going to smash it, and he did the opposite. So that's why he's playing so well. He has all the quality, but his mental isn't getting in his way when he gets opportunities.
Yeah, and Stu and I spoke about this earlier in the season, didn't we? I think that when we first saw him kind of burst onto the scene, he was making more errors in judgment, I think you saw that sort of naivety, that kind of immaturity and things that come with experience. But I feel, even though he's had a bit of time out, and even prior to that, you know, a few games ago and obviously today, you're right. I think that's something that maybe he's become accustomed to. He's learned a little bit better and is making those correct decisions. Would you agree with that, Stu? Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit more?
So Hammer's hit the nail completely on the head, but I'll say one thing about why he's changed his approach, or will change his approach since he's come back, and that's his injury. Once you're injured as a young player, you've got a decision to make in your career. You've got a decision to make in your life. I've got injured. Why have I got injured? And you start looking back at tapes. You start looking back at games. You start looking back at tackles that have gone in against you. You've got lucky. And you try and reevaluate your whole viewpoint of the game and try to do it somewhat differently. And Kai will tell you this as a coach. One of the things is the ability to be able to protect your players as a coach, but also tell them, encourage them to protect themselves on the pitch. And that's what you'll see a different type of Garnacho, because he will be a little bit more wary about overrunning the ball, for example, or cutting inside or going out wide. He'll scope a little bit more. Like today, as Hammer eloquently put it, and he really did. It was a good way of doing it. Everybody thought he was going to shoot. He did his little fake, and he got a cleaner strike off. 6 months ago, what would he have done? Bang! It would just hit it. He's thought about it. And when you're out the game for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 weeks, you're doing your rehabilitation, you got your headphones on, you're on the bike. I mean, me and Kai have been there, you're on the bike. Fucking hell, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You're thinking and thinking and thinking. And that's where the top players, such as Ronaldo, such as Messi, very rarely get injured, because they're just their game to avoid injuries, and they're thinking constantly about it. So Hammer's perfectly right. I just wanted to add that.
No, absolutely right. Both with very, very good points. Let's talk just quickly a few things that have come out post-match reaction. So Erik ten Hag has won the most games of any Manchester United manager in their debut season. Take whatever you want from that, but I just thought I'd share that with you. Bruno Fernandes come out and he said the spirit was there, a really professional performance. We know how important it is to get the 3 points. We know we need to finalise position in the top 4. The goalkeeper did a great game. His first game in the Premier League, he was amazing, great saves, and we have to give him a compliment. To play for Manchester United, you have to be special. This club is massive, and we know the past. Here is another one coming through. We're really happy for him. So that's on Garnacho. We need 6 points to secure our place if we win our games, blah, blah, blah. Ten Hag comes out, it says vital win. We had to bounce back after defeats and individual mistakes. We had no energy today. We had to win. We did that. On Garnacho, we got a bad tackle. We worked hard and straight away made an impact. We have seen that many times this season from the bench. It will give him massive confidence. Coming back to Bruno Fernandes.
Sorry, real quick. All keepers can kiss my ass. It's ridiculous. That's your debut, and that was the shit that was happening today. Sorry, go ahead.
No, fair point. Tell me how you really feel, Hammer. Yeah? Right, yeah, Kai, I'll come over to you. Bruno Fernandes. He's now scored or assisted 75 goals in the Premier League for Manchester United. A very good performance from him today. Obviously an assist as well, but looked dangerous, secure, dictated a little bit, sort of tracked back quite well in that midfield, and he's obviously playing that deeper role. We've spoken about this before, but your thoughts on him, please, mate.
Cool. Thanks for letting me jump on the Garnacho train. Thank you. Appreciate it, Marc.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's rewind a little bit.
Let's rewind on whatever you just drank. I don't know.
No, go on. You carry on then. Give me your Garnacho thoughts.
No, it's the only thing which I just wanted to say is like very few wingers have this thing whereby if they're running at you, then the defender is visibly backing off. And the one thing which Garnacho has is a little bit of that, whereby there is some sort of a fear. If you see a lot of our wingers, a lot of the fullbacks go directly into the tackle because they know that, there's no either pace or they know that there's no composure or there's no close control. So they're not scared. It's that fear factor. But every time you see Garnacho come on, the moment he receives it, then the moment he pushes it forward, you can actually see, everyone's panicking a little bit. Everyone's panicking. And then it's up to him to make the right decision, like you guys are saying, that now it's up to him to find those, that right decision making that he did. And that finish was world class. Like drive in, out, finish. I mean, that was beautiful. Anyways, Bruno Fernandes is great. And the only thing which I always really wish for is to see him with more efficient players. So players that score more, like what Rashford's been doing, sort of.
Yeah.
Because the amount that Bruno creates, it's incredible. It's like it's if you see the numbers, they're always similar to De Bruyne, right? But then look at the amount of goals that they score. Look at the output that the players have when it comes to those positions. And I can guarantee you, if De Bruyne was in our team and he was putting in the same balls, we would be missing the same chances because, in fact, De Bruyne's passes are way more difficult to finish. They are incredibly hard. Those ones that he swerves like.
Oh, no, he's gone.
Oh no.
Come back.
Christ almighty. He's gone, but I love the animated
it was the swerve.
We've got to be there. I don't know, I think he's trying to tell us about the swerve. David Beckham, something like that. But go on.
That was a very astute point he's made. He's absolutely right. The balls that go into Haaland or Silva or whoever, they are way more difficult balls to actually control and finish. And that's why De Bruyne is De Bruyne, But and he's right, though. De Bruyne could be with us, and even if the balls are straightforward, we're still not scoring anyway near the amount of goals that we.
Here he is.
I just made your point, Kai. That and you're right about the types of balls that De Bruyne puts in. They're way more difficult because depending on the power that he puts on it. Either first time finish or control and finish. But you're right. De Bruyne puts that into us. We're not scoring anywhere near as many goals as City anyway, because we don't have that type of player is able to bring it down out the air, and or do a first-time strike or whatever. And it's good point.
Yes, Stu finished it off perfectly. Thank you, Stu.
Kai, I have to say, buddy, it was quite funny because your image was very animated. You were like this, telling us about your swerve. But it was good fun, and yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Just to add to Bruno, by the way, so of course, my thing is, I think that then affects the image that people have of Bruno, because he's a ridiculous technician actually in the small skill set that he has. But because of our lack of output, it looks like, he's not doing enough. It looks like, everyone then tries to look at the things which he's not good at anyways. Right. But De Bruyne, you never look at the things he's not good at anyways, because you know that whatever he's good at is going to have at least an assist every game, at least a goal every game. But I promise you, if you really watch De Bruyne, there's so many games where he's asleep, where he's not playing well at all, where he does not touch the ball, where maybe it's because of Pep, because he moves him around a little bit, and they have to move him until he gets to a position where he's in a half space on the right, whips in a
no!
It's the whip. I'm telling
whips
you.
In what? Whips in what? I just want to come to a point. We'll bring him back in a minute. Do you know what? He's absolutely brilliant at what he does, but unfortunately he's having internet issues today. He'll be back. Just wanted to make the point here, and Ten Hag said something funny a second ago. Last season, the keeper making his debut against us would have been Prime Buffon. Let's be happy that we actually scored more than one goal. And then Ten Hag, don't worry, bro. Well, you're coming straight back in. Let me just finish this. So he goes on to say, we are very good in making the opposition goalkeeper man of the match. It happened today, and at Brighton, we need to be better at conversion, definitely. Anyway, Kai, carry on, buddy.
I don't know what the last thing I said.
You got to whip. You said whip, and then
another whip again.
Yeah, it was the whip. I just think it's this De Bruyne whip thing is just dangerous. But anyways, however it is, we need to score more goals from Bruno's chances so that people really get to see the good things and get to celebrate the good things, because I think the good things come with the finishing. And I promise you, a few more better technical players, a few more better center forwards that move between the center halves. And I repeat, I have not seen a run between the center halves in forever. And I think then you'll see a little bit more in terms of that. And his work rate is great as usual. Yeah,
good points. Well made. He's such a good player, and we all know that. You know what I mean? He's the numbers and stuff. Obviously, from a few years ago, he's dropped deeper, but he was great today, and I just wanted to highlight that. And obviously 75 contributions.
Sorry, Mark. Can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
I made a point.
Before you cut out, be quick.
I made a point like a few months ago, and I said that the Bruno captaincy thing works because at United, when you give the captaincy to somebody that's in defense and they make mistakes, it gets too much uproar. And the modern thing in the modern game is give the captaincy to the guy up front. Give it to someone up front. Give it to Kane. Give it to Messi. Give it to Mbappe.
Oh no!
It's the hand motions, man.
He gets too animated, doesn't he? But
can I just say, Mark, what Kai's talking about there absolutely backs up and validates my argument of a captain for
I made it just in time.
You did, because he's right. Just chuck the captain's armband on anybody, just not maybe a defender. And I get that. It validates everything I said, Mark. I just thought I'd mention that.
No, good. I'm pleased you're happy. Anyway, I know you got a bit. No, you're not, you miserable bastard. But anyway, let's move on. We're gonna make this show slightly shorter today. I've got a few bits to do and everything else. So sorry about that. But anyway, we're going to come to match ratings. And I want everyone to get involved. All of you, make sure you like and subscribe. Get involved. Tell me what you think, whether you agree with us, whether you don't. And I'm going to come to David De Gea first, obviously, and I'll come to you, Hammer.
I'll give him a 7. I feel like a 6 is a little low. He didn't do too many things. He did
I
have,
think that's fair.
Golden Glove. Golden Glove. He's got to be a 7.
Possibly.
Golden Glove.
Yeah, but with all the shit that has happened, there's a little sour in that Golden Glove, I think, for him.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, I think he only had. I think Stu brought it up. He had that one where he tried to come out and almost took out the attacker. Other than that, he wasn't really sloppy or anything today. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Moving on to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'll come to you, Kai.
I think 7.5. He defended well, got into attacking areas. I always think that he's one of the most. I love players with a profile. They look just like who they are, and I think if you just judge him just for a footballer who just is the guy who looks like that, you'll start to see small little things that he's good at. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just little things that he's doing that seem to be out of his comfort zone. There was a point where he took on 2 men, did a nice little dummy on the outside of the box in the second half. This was, and little things like that. I just think are things that have grown with him because of his confidence.
He had a nice
really,
little flick too.
Yeah, he did a few things. Quite good. I thought he was one of our better. They were all okay today, but I thought he was one of our best players. So Raphael Varane, and I'll come to you, Stu. Also, Stu, we had a conversation and you weren't sure on Varane. So I want to ask you just very briefly, do you think he's changed your mind a little bit? I know you had some concerns initially, and then obviously you're rating for him today.
So he gets a 7 from me because I just thought it was a steady performance. But last year, I pointed out 5 mistakes where he cost us 5 goals, and they were genuine mistakes, genuine goals that he cost us. In fact, he cost us more than that, but I went with 5. And I got absolutely vilified for it until I explained my reasoning behind each of the goals. He needed 12 months to bed in, simple as that. And I think now we're seeing some kind of player. He's not what you would call the most dynamic defender, but as Kai pointed out, his positional sense is top drawer. But it wasn't last year, and that's why we conceded 5 or 6 goals. He's now making the correct choices. So 7. I was right last year, 100%. And I could tell you 5 goals where he went wrong.
No, listen, I'm not. No, it's a good answer, and I absolutely agree with
this
you.
Year as well.
I think your point was, and I wasn't trying to call you out anything like that. I think your point was that then, and you're absolutely right. You were concerned. Sorry. Because you called out a few of the mistakes that he'd done, and he was culpable for some of those goals. Yeah. That seems to have stopped almost.
He's eradicated that.
Yeah, completely. And now he's as well as people loud Martinez, he's been as good, if not better, and a wonderful partner for Martinez. And great to have him back. Really anyway, let's move on. So Lindelof again, and I'll come to you, Hammer.
I mean, I think I'm gonna keep it consistent. I know some people might like differences, but I'll give him a 7 as well because I feel like the back line, other than Costa being a pain in the ass, there wasn't too much going on in the back line. But I do want to big up Lindelof a little bit, though. He has done a pretty damn great job stepping in with Varane and them being out. Shaw moving to center back while we're trying to figure stuff out. Wherever he gets put, he's putting on some type of performance. And I think him and a couple other players have made their stake to stay at the club because I think, especially if everything gets sold and all that, there are definitely going to be a decent sized list of players going out. And I think Lindelof's one of those players who's kept his spot for the next season.
I agree. I don't think we've spoken about this a few times. Just going to quickly touch upon this. I don't think Lindelof's ability was ever in question. You think back to the Mourinho days where we were shutting up shop, we were difficult to score against, regardless of how awful the football was, whatever. He was a big part of that, and he had someone alongside him like Bailly, who's be able to chase down, is a better ball playing centre back as well. You know what I mean? It's a partnership, and I don't think that's ever been in doubt. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's come in, not moaned about it once, done his job, been, been alongside a couple of people now, which is never easy. You know, you have to build that relationship in anything you do, and I think there's good points well made there, mate.
I think, Mark, can I just say, I think if there was ever a player which Ten Hag could help tactically and who would really understand the game, I think it would be Lindelof. So I think that's also been something that's really helped, because you can see he does move differently. Even though he's not left-footed at centre back, you can still see that he's making some really good decisions there. So
yeah, absolutely spot on.
Today,
yeah, he was good. Absolutely spot on. Luke Shaw, Kai. He's gone. Stu, you.
Luke Shaw, I'm just going to go consistent, 7, maybe 7.5, but nothing major today. I thought he was. It was good to see him back at left back, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's good to see him. I think you can see what he brings there. I was going to come to you, Kai, on Shaw, but I'll give Casemiro instead. Over to you, Kai.
Casemiro. Steady from Casemiro. Another 7-ish thing. Yeah, I think his passing was good. I'm always really surprised at how well he passes the ball and the weight he puts on passes. I'm always like, how do you put that weight? It's just right. So, and I think maybe his teammates aren't surprised anymore, but I'm sure they would have been the first few days in training, because the weight on his passes sometimes.
I think it's amazed all of us as United fans.
Yeah,
we didn't see that a lot for Real Madrid, did we? Because you had Toni Kroos, you had Modric in front of him to kind of do all that for him. Yeah, so Casemiro, it was just something, and maybe it's because I didn't watch enough Real Madrid, but I'm pretty sure no one really was aware of it. He's got a wonderful passing range.
There's a guy on Twitter that when Casemiro signed, before he even played, he said, "Oh wow, United are going to be so surprised when they see Casemiro's long balls," you know. So, and then now we see them playing them, and we're like, "Oh wow, yeah." And I don't know, I'll find it in my bookmarked somewhere, but I put it there somewhere. I was like, yeah, this guy has seen him somewhere before. Probably Brazil, he does this a lot more as well.
And how right he was. Go on.
I just want to say real quick, there was at least one of those I saw today that Kai was talking about. I think it was to Eriksen, where he switched it from like bottom right part of the field, and I thought it was going long to like Shaw or something, and then dropped to Eriksen's feet. I was like, wait, that's not where I thought that ball was going.
Yeah. Let's quickly move on to what's going to go off again. Stu, Eriksen.
Yeah, difficult one actually, Eriksen today. I thought he was okay. I'm not going to give him a 6 because I don't think that's fair. Well, it is fair, but I'm not going to give him.
It's fair. I thought he was underperforming today. I thought
he did. A 6 is fair. Well, it's going to have to be a 6. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to say about what he did or didn't do today. It's a shame. He was on the pitch, but he didn't offer this the Eriksen, and he hasn't done the Eriksenisms for the last few games.
Yeah,
he's come back from injury. He's just not quite with it. He needs a break, and the summer off, and I think you'll see a better Eriksen next year. But 6, I think he's been great this year, by the way.
Yeah,
up until his injury,
he wasn't on it today.
Yeah.
He wasn't on it today. He misplaced a couple of passes. He wasn't sort of strong in the tackle. He didn't really dictate the sort of tempo of the game, which is what we all have spoken about that he does very, very well. I think it's been like that for the last few games. So listen, this isn't us going in. We know how much of a wonderful side he's been. Yeah, but he wasn't. Can I say?
Today. I think Eriksen is. If you look at the live stream, it's on 44:03. So I think you should only judge Eriksen by every 44:08 minutes that he plays. Not anymore. We're still before halftime. So whatever Eriksen does, I think we need to judge him always by that, because the guy that comes out of the second half is not, he's finished. He's done out here. So we always see 15 minutes after the first half of Eriksen not really being up to speed with everything. So it's a weird one to judge him on, but there's a small period of time that he does.
Just one of those on it, today. Just one
good
of those.
in.
So I think fair point. Right, let's move on to Bruno Fernandes, and I will give that to you, Hammer.
I'm gonna go 7.58. I don't know if that's high for some of y'all, or if y'all would give it something else.
No, I'm happy with 8.
I was going to give him an 8 or an 8.5 if I'm honest. I really felt like he was good, very good.
I'll
today.
go with he was very good today. And I think and I thought it to, or I maybe said it out loud too, because I was taking a puff on the deck and watching the game in the first half. But like he was, he was about. There was a certain point in the first half where it looked like he was really up for it today, and he wasn't doing some of the stuff that I think some people don't like. So like I said it to myself, I was like, oh, Bruno's trying to do something today, and he played well today, and
yeah, he did. He did. I
know a beautiful pass, beautiful weighted pass for that run for that goal. So
yeah. You saw a little bit of frustration in Garnacho just before that. There was a pass from Garnacho.
And he showed him how to
Bruno,
play the pass,
and it went out, and he turned around, and it's just like, oh, not that heavy. But anyway, it's all those.
And then he showed the kid by example. What a good captain.
He did. What a great turnaround, wasn't it? He did. Right, moving on to Anthony. And feel free to come in as well, Stu. I'll give this to Kai first. I felt differently to what you were saying, Stu, personally. I think Kai may have done too. So I'm going to give it to you first, Kai, on Anthony, and then Stu, if you've got anything to put in.
Kai will see it from my viewpoint. You won't.
Okay.
Look, the thing is,
no pressure.
I still want more from Anthony because
There you go.
Okay, did you see the moment? Actually, Anthony is hamstringed by his stamina. I think it's as simple as that. Because if you see how fast he runs when he pushes the ball on the inside, I still haven't seen one defender that catches him the moment he does his little thing like this and he pushes the ball inside and then he starts. Nobody catches him. And he pushes it fast and he has acceleration, right? He may not have sprint speed that's like crazy like Rashford like that, but he has acceleration. But he has only bursts. Look at when he defends. Our system requires the winger to sprint into position the moment.
Listen, the moment. I'm telling you, it's the hand motions. I grew up in Jersey. It's too much hand motions, too much Italian. He's not even Italian.
He gets too animated.
He kind of agrees with me. What Anthony does lack, and Kai's right, but he does also lack the ability to lean in at the right time. Anthony has got no idea how to lean in. He's got no idea how to lean in. That's all it is.
Kai, honestly, mate, let me just say.
About his burst of pace, he's absolutely right because he does get clear of the player. But what happens is the defender catches back up with him, which is what Kai.
Yeah, he has that initial acceleration, doesn't he? Yeah. And then when he's got the ball and he just seems to slow up a little bit.
And a very simple thing that again you all learnt by your five. Just as you can hear him coming and he gets closer and closer and closer, just do that. All you got to do is lean in. That's what you got to do.
Our wingers don't know how to win free kicks except Rashford. No, none of them know how to win free kicks. They all all get dispossessed fairly the entire time. And you need to lean in. You need to literally jump into the legs of the guy. Like it has to look like a foul. Like it has to look like the ref has made a really bad decision because there's contact. Like Grealish, there's contact. Even if it's not really a foul, there is contact that he's manufactured by literally going into you, and there's nothing.
That's what Bruno does all the time, and yet people moan about it.
Can I make a point about Grealish though? By the way, if I was a defender and Grealish was coming at me, trust me, if he went down, he'd be going down properly.
See, this is where I can get involved. I can't. I've always been a defender. All right, I've had these shoulders since I was like 12 or 13. There was people were bouncing into me and falling. I couldn't fake anything. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
So I never learned that. I never learned that skill. I was always the one putting people down.
And it's just as simple as the moment Anthony pushes the ball forward to his left, right? It's about knowing that it's coming. But everyone always catches him on this side, like in front of him. I'm like, oh, that's useless. Like then if they catch you on this side, it means you slow down.
Oh no!
It's definitely the animation, isn't it?
He can run across.
He's blowing a kiss to you, Mark. Look, he's blowing a kiss to you.
He run across.
Stop moving your hands.
And if you don't want to lean in, just use your left arm. Then I'll run across.
Exactly. Get cool. Do something.
Although saying that, he did assist. I'm going to say this point. He did assist with his right foot today, so that was nice. Right, moving on to.
We didn't get the score though, did we?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Kai. Score for us.
He gets a 6.
6.
Yeah,
guys, I've got
I'm sorry, Mark. I'm not an assist goal guy. I'm sorry. I look at the bigger picture.
That's fine.
Even
I just don't agree.
Listen, Mark. The thing is, he's doing the same things, and then sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. So his scores can't go with those same inconsistent things that we see. Yes. Okay, fine. Fair enough. 7 because he assisted with his right foot. Fair enough. Yes, you get this one. This one time.
Mate, don't sit on the fence too hard, will you? Don't sit on the fence too hard.
Mark, thank God for that. I've got a 7.
Oh, fucking hell. No, honestly, I'm sorry. I can't agree with either of you today. I understand his frailties. I understand that he can't seem to see a game out. I think that he loses a lot of stamina very quickly. I absolutely agree with that. But listen, I've become to really, really enjoy Anthony. I think he works so fucking hard.
He's not a bad player.
He tracks back. He's a great player. And I tell you wait, next season he'll be putting up some more numbers, I can assure you. And I'm really excited to see how he develops
next season, not today.
Don't care. Don't care.
Kai's back again. It's 2 Kais.
Aren't we lucky? We had two of you on them, bro. Look.
Yeah, it was like 2 Marcials.
Anyway,
can I just apologize to the viewers? This is just
you need to.
Again, in the apology.
He's gone anyway.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway,
let's move on. I'll take Martial.
Yeah, you take Martial, mate. Yeah.
Martial gets a 6 for me, and that's by virtue of his goal. That's the only reason he gets a 6.
Oh, come on, guys.
It wasn't tap in. It wasn't tap in.
Listen, take your coach's caps and your league players' caps off because y'all are slaughtering some of these guys.
And your internet with you.
I didn't think he did much apart from that really today. That was all. And
I do agree with that. The goal was not. I always get a bit emotional with Martial because we know how good he is. We know
Harry Maguire comes on, he gets a 9 for me. Maguire.
Wait, if we're gonna do this too, one person none of us talked about here where we probably should have.
Sancho,
yeah, I was gonna say for Fred.
We'll leave Fred. We'll leave Fred. We'll leave Garnacho. Someone want to do Sancho for me, Stu? If you want to finish up, and then we'll finish, bro.
He's 6. That's that's all I can give him. I can't give him any more than that. I don't know about you guys.
No. I think I got a bit frustrated with him today, and I said for the first time in the chat, I've defended him so much.
No, you have.
A wonderful player there.
No, you're right too.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling to sing, bang that same drum every week. And I thought today there were a couple of points, as you've said as well. He's not really going in for the tackle, and a few other things. But there was one opportunity he had, but other than that, did he do much else? Not really. I was going to say next season is his pivotal one, but I really think that he could go in the summer. And as I said, I can't defend him anymore. Right, boys, we're going to finish. Really appreciate your time. You three have been wonderful. Even Kai with your internet. You sort your internet, bro. I'll get you one every week. You're amazing. Anyway, listen. Have a great rest of your weekend. It is only Saturday. We've got lots of other games to play. Hopefully, Liverpool lose the fucking scum. And
City lose as well to Everton because they're alive still.
They did a good game the other day as well, didn't they? Yeah. So it's all to play for and lots to go. But listen, enjoy the rest of your weekends, guys. Kai, Hammer, Stu, always wonderful to have you. Get live tickets, subscribe in, and we'll see you next time.